So, why for somebody who is helping people optimize their health from a movement um, quality of life standpoint, get into something like you said that is pretty intense?
Yeah, it's a great question. Once I started to figure out what I needed to do on a daily basis to get out of pain, felt pretty good. But that's all I was doing is I was just doing routines to feel good. I was working with everybody from people who had never stepped foot into a gym to some of the top NFL players in this country. So I had a very wide range of clientele, elite athletes to just your everyday folks. I remember an ultra runner reached out to me and he had to quit running because of this injury. And I'm not saying what we did was miraculous, but after a few sessions, after a few routines, he was so intimate with his body, he knew himself so well. We were able to get to some really profound routines that got him back to running and he got back into ultra running. I gave him the missing piece that somebody gave me. And I'm sitting in my office chair doing 8 to 12 appointments day in and day out, getting other people across the finish line, helping other people win championships, getting other people world records and PRs and blue ribbons. Who was I to know what I know and just do nothing with it? It almost felt like I hit this point of knowledge with my body that it would be a waste knowing what I know with my own body to not put it to the test. And so I wanted to be more. I had never been a runner. I've always hated running. I started running at 32 and I'm 35 right now. So I've been running for about 3 years. And it was miserable and it challenged me to have to learn a new set of skills to take care of my body. So it was like I got out of pain, great. Then I learned how to stay out of pain, great. Well, what's next? I could have just done that for decades more and probably lived a high quality life, but I think it was just that inner athlete, man, that part of me that I had to kill all those years back after breaking my own back. It was just this inner voice, man, of like, why not? Like, why aren't you going to go do incredible things? You know what you know now. You've been to rock bottom. There's no injury in running. Oh God, I'm knocking on wood. There's no injury in running that I feel like would be worse than breaking your back unless you like break your back again. But I feel like I had been through the worst of it. Like, what could be worse than that? So I started to run and I hated it. And I fell in love with how much I hated it. And what it forced me to understand, it took me out of the textbooks and it put me back into my body of being an athlete now with this information. Um, I remember the first time I ran half a mile, kicked my butt. I was dying, dude. Not only was a half a mile almost impossible, but I think it took me like a week to recover from running half a mile. I had to pull out all the tools in my tool belt to recover from that half a mile run. And then the next week I did 3/4 of a mile. And the next week was a mile. And then it was a mile and a half. It was 2 miles. And, as I'm doing these like 2-mile runs that were really hard, I had this one random Saturday run where I hit my 2-mile mark, and I'm like, "I feel good. What's happening right now? The sky is blue. The birds are singing. Can we keep going?" I did like 4.5 miles, man. 4.5 miles. That was absurd to me. I never in my wildest dreams, after running that mile test in 6th grade PE, did I think I would go run 4.5 miles. And I did. And it felt pretty damn good. And this idea came in my mind that day. Well, if I could do 4.5, what's the limit? I thought half a mile was my limit a couple weeks ago. Now I'm at 4.5, 4.5 miles. It was just this addiction that started. Like any endurance athlete, you probably have a background in trauma, you probably have a background in sports, you probably are a sucker for pain. It was just I had all of the ingredients. I had the recipe for falling in love with endurance running, and I did. And um it's been an incredible past 3 years being able to see what my body's been capable of after having this life-altering injury, and, um, being able to cross the finish line of a 50-mile race through the mountains, dude, after spending almost your entire 20s fearful of movement, scared, alone, and in pain, that feeling I want so many people to have, and I'm not saying you need to go run an ultra, it's just that feeling of, "I'm back. I'm back, baby. Let's go." It's freaking cool.